Today, I'll be talking about basic mistake beginners make when starting software development. Now, the good thing about this is that I will not be saying random mistake, but I will actually be talking from my personal experience, the mistake I've made, and how I was able to cover up over time. Now, follow me. Let me begin with a short story. When I started having intention of learning software development. It wasn't like it was hyped right now as of that time. So when I was intending to make attempts and learn software development, as of that time, there was someone that gave me a specific file. I think that time my W3 school was can be taken up and down with a file. So someone gave me, and that person just left me to myself. I should go and be learning and stuff. I must tell you that it was not a sweet experience. However, after a couple of years, I decided to find a physical school or a physical hub where I can be taught, where I can learn how to actually scale this software development thing. So fortunately enough, I discovered Malog. When I joined Malog, the person I met there, the person of Mr. Edwan, such a great person. Shout out to Mr. Edwan. So when I got to Malog, they told me that there is designing, there is front end development, and there is back end development, and there is full stack as a course. So because of the excitement and the enthusiasm, I jumped on to full stack immediately, thinking I will definitely know full stack, learn both front end and back end within the period of 6 months, because of course that was what I was told. So then we started the journey, and yeah, front end seems to be difficult little by little, even while we haven't even started deep JavaScript. So when it was getting overwhelming, I went back to the registrar and I told him that as far as I'm concerned, I'm not doing full stack again. I'm doing only front end development. What does that mean? That means I actually withdrawn from the full stack intention originally. That was because I got overwhelmed from the front end. Then I could now picture, if I am getting overwhelmed from the front end, what would it be when we get to the back end and when we start the full stack development? What happened to me then was that I was trying to know everything at once. I was trying to know everything at the same time. I was trying to put everything together and know them at the same time. And why was that happening? Because that was what I was actually told. So I will use this opportunity to tell every tutors, every hub out there that they should please at least try as much as possible not to tell these people that they can know software development in 3 months. Some people will tell you that you should come for a 1 month boot camp, that you know all you need to know as far as JavaScript is concerned or full stack is concerned. That is actually a lie. Of course, it is a big lie. You can't even know 10% in 1 month. You can't know 30%, 40% in 3 months of what you need to know in a programming language. So now that mistake is what I call trying to know everything at once. I was trying to put everything together because it sounds sweet, full stack, combination of front end and back end. Okay, let's take it off. But why I was still doing the front end, I got overwhelmed and I was like, yeah, it is time for me to actually cut this and withdraw from full stack development, which happens to be the first mistake. Second mistake every beginners make while trying to learn software development is the fact that they depend on raw data. They depend on raw 2 plus 2 is 4. You believe that everything you want to achieve should be seen inside a tutorial video. No, it's not done that way. Now, don't forget that I said I'm saying this from my personal experience. That was what I used to believe as well. The fact that there is a tutorial video that we watch that tells us how to do this logic, how to apply this syntax, doesn't mean that everything we need will be directly inside that tutorial video or will be directly inside one tutorial video actually. So the fact that we depend so much on the theory, we depend so much on the material that we get is taking our direction away from actually utilizing what we are learning. Do you know that you might think you've known a lot in that programming language you are learning, not until you try to use it to build a product. So if you don't actually use it to build a product, if you keep watching tutorial, the person is writing if and else, you are writing if and else as well. You think you know it, but you did not know it. You only know it when you try to use it to build something. In fact, funny enough, the things that you don't know, when you try to use it to build, that is when you know them better. As far as I'm concerned, I know React JS by not by studying it, is by using it to build a product. I applied for a job one day, and the interviewer, the HR called me, and they asked me to, yeah, they gave me an assignment, an assessment to go and build a product with React, and they asked me to use Redux. I have never used Redux in my life as of that time. So I went out trying to make sure I build a product and trying to make sure I'm able to deliver before the time given to me. Unfortunately, I could not deliver actually. So not able to deliver was made me feel so bad. So I went back and I new reader. So what am I trying to say? I don't know these things. What even if I've learned it, I might not really know it as I know it right now. I know it because I put them to practice. So as a beginner, everything doesn't revolve around what your direct tutor is teaching you. Everything doesn't revolve around what YouTube video is teaching you. Everything doesn't revolve around the tutorial you are watching. Everything depends on you and how much you put them to practice. I come again. Everything depends on you and how much you put them to practice. Also, another mistake I discovered that beginners make is something everybody used to mention, but I feel like it's not emphasized enough. That's imposter syndrome. You feel that you cannot do enough. You are personally afraid of yourself. You are feeling like, how will I even start this? Funny enough, if you don't start it, you won't start it. If you don't start it, you won't know the next thing. You understand me? So this was one of the mistake I made as well, and I was able to figure it out over time. There's a better way of putting things in place. All right. Another mistake that every beginner, in fact, this one is not only beginners, including people that has already become a full-time developer. Another mistake they make is neglecting or ignoring the soft skill. You see, there's a level of personal development everybody should have before you can even move to a professional environment when you want to be employed. There is something we call employability. Some people are not employable, sincerely. So there is a level of personal internal skill, so to say, soft skills you need to have before you can move out there. Some people really don't know how to communicate. Some people don't know how to handle rejection. Some people don't know how to handle heavy work. You will work with team where they will assign tasks for you, you will do it, you will have to fix it, they will tell you it's not done right. How do you handle those things? Now I am telling you this from my personal experience. I used to be a very, very strong person in terms of instruction. I don't take instructions by default. I used to, once upon a time in my life, I used to believe that I own my life and I can control it. I used to believe that nobody can instruct me. I used to believe that I owe no one accountability. But now, reverse is the case. In fact, now I'm looking for people to be accountable to because I need to grow. So I'm looking for people I can learn from them because I'm able to, because that's what will definitely make me grow. I pay much attention to myself to make sure that I allow my soft skill to grow so that I can actually survive in a professional environment. When I've been communicated to, either wrongly or right, I make sure I handle it right. So I feel like every newbie, every developer should have this. Whatsoever the kind of person you are before you come into the professional field, you need to neglect it and take in the soft skill that is required for you to live in that professional environment, the soft skill that is required for your sustainability in that professional environment. You got employed remotely. You are the one that liked to sleep before, but you got employed remotely, and your stand up is 7 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. or your stand up is even 8 p.m. at night when you will be resting already because you're working with an international company. You need to make yourself available. You need to try to put these things right. So I feel like if newbies can do this, they'll be able to scale easily. Another thing that every beginner does that actually get them derailed is trying to learn multiple programming language at once. What am I trying to say? Some beginners believe that they want to learn all these programming language at once. I've once met someone that is telling that he was telling me that yeah, he's ready. He wants to learn Java. He's learning JavaScript at that time. He wants to learn Java. He wants to learn Rust. He wants to learn Golang. I was looking at him. I was like, bro, how is that even possible? Take it slow. Take it one after the other, precept by precept, a step at a time. Nobody is rushing you. Nobody. So if you are trying to learn multiple programming language at once, you will get overwhelmed. You will get really, really tired. You will get frustrated because even one programming language that you are learning, you are seeing bugs, you haven't understand everything, you are still trying to figure it out, simple mistakes, you are forgetting one comma somewhere, you are not actually managing code base very well. Now comparing it to now doing the same thing on 3 or 4 programming languages, no, you will think you are growing, but you are not. So I recommend that you should try as much as possible to focus on one programming language when you know it and you feel like you can now scale to another one. In fact, I personally recommend that you should not learn another programming language until you've put the first one to work. This is what I mean. If you've not actually been using the JavaScript you learn in a work environment, don't try to learn another language. Don't try to learn Golang. Don't try to learn Java. No. Make sure you are using it in a professional environment. You've been using it to build clear products, obvious products before you move to the next programming language. And I think by doing this, you will not get overwhelmed. And of course, you'll be able to track your progress. You'll be able to move little by little. Rome is not built in a day. You have to take a step, one step at a time, one step after the other, a step after the other. And of course, success will be mine. So these few things I've mentioned are a couple of mistakes I've personally made and I have corrected. And today, I even though I am now a project manager, I've transitioned and I will be making a video about my transitioning very soon. I still, when anytime I have to build a product and I'm writing code, I still find it easy to actually scale through that basic thing that I actually know. Because if you wake me at night, obviously I will tell you any question you ask for. Thank you for watching.